Paul's kid brother. The big guy could afford to be a little bit indulgent. Which wasn't the case with Louis Milestone, the poor director saddled with making a movie in the middle of it. Every morning he came to work in an amusement park that his boss owned, and woke his boss up and tried to get him to jump through hoops for a few hours, and you had to look deep into his dark old eyes to see what he really thought about it. This movie wasn't some work of art. This wasn't All Quiet on the Western Front, with poetic butterflies and mud and a moral. This was a sure thing, a money machine, a way to bring the party to the people who could only read about it in the papers. Hell, the only reason they hired him in the first place was that Jack Warner insisted on a pro, and Peter guaranteed that the old guy, who was making Lassie shows for Christ's sakes, would do whatever they told him. But still, they didn't want to make a career out of it. So, come the morning, they let Millie run them around in circles for a little bit, even if they hadn't gone to sleep yet, on account of last night was, as they liked to say, a gasser. Or at least everyone but Frank let him do it. Frank was the boss, after all, and picture or no picture, he was going to work when he felt like it. He used to say that he only had one take in him, like he was an artist about it. The truth was, he only had one take he gave a shit about, and if they wanted that one in the movie, then they'd have to wait until he was ready to give it. So, Sammy, a salty dog or two down the hatch, would show up on the set at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning, and Dean and Peter would show up at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning, and Joey, who was lucky to be here at all, let's face it, would be there at 7 o'clock or whenever they said so, showered and alert. But Frank, 4:30 in the afternoon, maybe 5 o'clock, and twice before lunch. Most days, not at all. They worked on the picture 25 days in Vegas. Frank showed up 9. Oh, it was his show, all right. In the early evenings, between a few hours of the movie and going back out on stage, the steam room. Frank had it built, the first one on the Strip, and when he was in town, it was off limits to anyone else. They'd drink in there and make phone calls and give each other the needle, the only time they could all be together and alone. Some other people were allowed in, the ultimate VIP room. This Rickles would take these incredible liberties with Frank, and Frank would kill himself. Sammy would take one humiliation after another. You can't wear a white towel, here's a brown towel for you, and act like he was killing himself. Actors from the movie, business guys, other guys who didn't say who they were. This was an inner circle. Men capable of all sorts of acts of power would sit like convent girls just for the pleasure of having been allowed inside. Compared to this, the show and the movie were, well, for anyone. But not just anyone was welcome. This was a group that Frank hand-picked, gliding through the world, sizing people up, then giving them the golden tap on the shoulder and bringing them in. Talent, money, power. None of these was quite enough. You had to have something Frank had, or something that he wanted to have more of. You were a cool leonine Italian, or a dazzling black ball of fire, or a British sophisticate with powerful relatives, or a Jewish wise guy who could brush off the world with a shrug. You were an Irish millionaire senator, or a psychotic mafia lord. You were the acme, the original, one of a kind, and Frank wanted you up close to study. He gathered everyone around him and sat in the middle and saw little parts of himself, little things he could fix or steal. Dr. Frankenstein building a hip new kind of Superman. Frankenstein, though, or Nosferatu? Because, though everyone got rich, got famous, got laid, Frank got more. They made movies. Frank was the producer. They cut records. Frank owned the company. They played Vegas and Tahoe. It was Frank's hotel. Everyone did good work. Frank was Michelangelo. They called him the leader. They asked him to be their best man.